Hello and welcome to the speaker working on October 16th, 2023. Welcome to your Rotary Club meeting of Jamestown. So if I can get you to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the singing of our national anthem and the four-way test. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice. Thank you very much. And so let's repeat the four-way test. Of the things we say, do, or hear, or wait, let's get this right. Think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Very good. Our Thanksgiving, our invocation, probably of Thanksgiving, is by Paulette Klein today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, out of a little book called Holy Moments, this is called Awakening, More to Offer. We have so much more to offer. We sense it. We may have known it for a long time. It's a truth that lingers, waiting patiently for us to pay attention to it. It's a soul sense. And when your soul senses such a thing, it should never be ignored. Amen.
So much. Don't want to lose my brains here. So, Marion Beckerink, would you like to announce visiting Rotarians and guests?
Okay. Well, this is what we love to see, guests in the house. And I'd like to first welcome Zach Agate. Thank you, Zach. He's a guest of Randy Sweeney. Happy to have you here. We also want to welcome Steve Nayland. Nealon, I'm sorry, I couldn't read your hand right. That's you, Steve. Oh, good to see you. He's a guest of Mayor Sundquist, so thank you for being with us. We also, Scott Johnson has brought Greg Leonard as one of our guests. Thank you, of our AM Rotarian. Great to have you here. And it looks like he has something in his hand that he wants to share. So that's awesome. And of course, last but not least, our wonderful guest and spouse, Marissa. So good to see you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start our announcements with a roving mic since our mic is working today. So you guys want to talk about the AM fundraiser? Who's going to?
Okay, whoops. This Sunday is our annual big fundraiser at the Ellicottville Brewing Company in Bemis for the annual Bill Briggs, Mark Grace, Sheila Eagleson memorial fundraiser. It probably 90% of our fundraising is gotten off this football party. It's $50, but you get a lot. Big turkey buffet, the biggest Chinese raffle you've ever seen in your life. Snacks, $1,000 in prizes, football pools, and just a fun afternoon with the Bills. Hopefully they work out the offense by Sunday. Anything to add there, sir?
Yes, we have tickets available for sale today if anyone's interested in purchasing one today. Just shout out to Scott Johnson and many of the members of our AM Rotary who've worked especially hard this year to make this a success. Last year we sold over 200 tickets and had 180 people in attendance. This year we are looking to break 200 in attendance, and so far the pre-sales look really strong, and we're hoping that you'll add to our wealth. When I first came in, one of your members who attended our fundraiser last year mentioned that we had run out of food, which was true, because we sold so many tickets at the door that the numbers weren't really anticipated. But this year we have twice as much turkey. We have over 200 pounds of turkey. So come on up and eat a pound.
Good, Greg. Thank you. Thank you, Greg, for that.
That's disgusting.
So now David Troxel and Mike Roberts have an announcement, but we'll get them up here on the camera. You guys got to be on camera.
I'll make this short.
Bicycles.
Most of you in the club know that, and maybe newcomers don't, that we have quite a robust international project that we do from this club every year, hand in hand with another club from another country. And that has been in northern Myanmar with new clean water, or in Africa, we've done a couple projects. One in Ethiopia, we put a new cafeteria in Addis Ababa, a safe place for kids to have lunch, or new flush toilets in Moshi in Tanzania. And we did a polio clinic a couple years ago. This club sponsored a polio clinic in Pakistan, and Marissa and I went there and helped that get built. And that's one of the last 2 countries where there's polio. So that was a wonderful thing. This year, we're involved with the Rotary Club of Singapore in a bicycle project. Some of these projects come alive in unusual ways. This was the result of a deadhead flight from Bangkok to Manila, getting off the plane in the Philippines at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was looking for a place to get coffee just to find out what was still working. And Marissa said, "Hey, there's a guy over there with a Rotary Club polo shirt on. Let's go talk to him." And I said, "No, let's have coffee." And but before I knew it, Marissa had dragged him back to our table, and he was the president of the Singapore Rotary Club. And they were just embarking on this project of collecting up 1,000 abandoned bicycles in Singapore, reconditioning them, painting them blue and yellow to match Rotary Club colors, putting a basket on the front, and putting the donor's name on the front, and sending them up to Cambodia to Siem Reap for kids, for children in elementary school to ride, to go to school to get an education. So it's a wonderful project. And we said, yeah, that sounds great. So our vision committee said, we'd like a chunk of that, 50 bicycles. So the vision committee came up with enough money for 25, and we have an opportunity for all of us to pitch in and get more, but that's Mike Roberts' story. And he's going to be our MC to get rid of these bicycles, or at least allow you to participate.
That's right. Thank you, David. What a great opportunity for us to partner with a club from an international club. And you know what brings it home to me is Dave and Marissa, that they would bring this project to us. They're going to be our hands and feet on the ground there. And it really means the world to me that one of our club members is actually involved at both ends. And that's just awesome.
the Singapore Club to be there to help distribute these bicycles to these kids. So it should be a great show. There'll be lots of photographs. And remember, the name of the sponsor will be on the front of the bicycle basket. So
How cool would it be to open up our Rotary magazine and find one of our club members' picture in it? Wouldn't that be amazing? As David had mentioned, this came to the vision committee, and he was looking to us to sponsor 50 bicycles. And the fact of the matter is we just don't have that kind of funding at this point. So here we are asking you, would you fill out a card? Would you make a check, not pay online, make a check out to the RCJCSF fund? That's a 501c3. So if you itemize your deduction, this costs you like $39 a bike, right? If you can't do a bike, talk to the person next to you. Maybe the two of you could sponsor a bike. That would be great. That would be perfect. So how do we get here? How do we get to the point where we don't have the funding to do this? It's called fundraising. So I'm going to give you a Rotary Club historic moment. And thanks to President John last week, he gave a couple of facts about auctions and what they raised. And so when I joined the club in 1996, it was the first year we got rid of Travelog and we moved to the golf tournament not being a social event, but being a fundraising event. And we had two fundraisers. We had the auction and we had the golf tournament. When I joined the club, you could say our accounting practices were could use a little improvement. We had one fund. That fund was the club fund. If you don't understand the accounting of your club, you need to understand there are two funds currently. There is the fund for the club. That's where all the fines go. It's how we pay for things that the club does throughout the year. A little tiny piece of your membership goes to that. We have a small amount of expenses throughout the year, and we do that through club. We do not use 501c3 fundraising monies to do club expenses. But in the old days, we had something called community grants. We had a community grants committee, and we would do community grants from about $200 to maybe $1,500. And the grants committee went out and researched all the people applying for these. And I remember under President Vince's leadership, he was adamant about separating the funds and forming a 501c3. When the auction really took off and we were doing community grants, we did it backwards. We would fund the community grants and then we would hold an auction. And the auction in the year that I was president was $18,000. About 3 years later, it made $30,000.
Oh, my.
So you can imagine that we have all of these fund balances because we weren't funding all of the community grants we could have. And at the same time, we're giving away $250 to a group for a new printer. So then we formed the Vision Committee. And the Vision Committee's job is to research and find things that we would like projects we would like to fund. We granted some money to the WCA hospital back in the day when it did an emergency room expansion. We did some things at JCC. Of course, we just did the sign at the city of Jamestown, and we did that with the funds through the Vision Committee. Your club voted that the Vision Committee would do 60% local and 40% international. That's student exchange, it's bicycle projects, it's water wells, and a number of other wonderful things that we can do. So, fundraising. auction, May 18th, Moonbrook Country Club. One of the things that I really miss about the auction is the relationships we developed working on the auction. And I'm looking forward to that coming back. You're going to need to pick an area that you want to work on. My area is going to be items. I've put on your tables some item suggestions. Okay. Vince is going to email those to you this week. What can we do? Sports memorabilia, Bills jerseys, signed Bills jerseys, framed jerseys, tickets, Sabres tickets, Bills tickets, condos in Mexico, condos in Ellicottville, events at Chautauqua, hotel rooms at Chautauqua, dinner at Chautauqua, flowers, liquor. There are some really rare liquors out there. Maybe you know someone that can get some of those. They're not necessarily really expensive to buy at the retail end, but because of supply and demand, you'll never walk into a liquor store and find them on the shelf. Those items will go for more than the value that you have. Who do you know? Who do you know that works for a manufacturer? What does that manufacturer make right here in Jamestown? We have a manufacturer called Weber Knapp. Weber Knapp makes a monitor mount that you can put 2 monitors on. And then you can stand up or sit down depending upon what you want to do. Is that something that we might be able to get donated to the auction? What are we looking for? New items over 200. This is not a garage sale. Used items over 500. Somebody have a jet ski, somebody have a car, somebody have a boat. Maybe it's time that I look to move on. Maybe I'm in a situation where I'd like to have that auctioned off for the Rotary Club. We had 2 Rotarians donate cars back in the day. Mark Olson bought one, and Randy Sweeney, I think, won the raffle on the other one. It's these kind of ideas that are going to take for us to do this. We don't want to be here asking you for $60. We don't want to come up and have you sell another ticket for $5 to support a program that we do. We want to get back into the fundraising business. We're really good at it, but it's going to take every single person. Who can you invite? What company do you know that might sponsor a table? Hurry, they're going to go fast. We've already sold 4 or 5. So, why are we here? A great project, $60 for a bicycle. I'm going to buy a couple. Yes, we have our first thing. These are on your tables. You can turn these in. Please, we'd like to get 25. Perfect. There's one. There's another one. Great. We want to sell 25 more so that our club does 50.
David is inviting everybody to Siem Reap.
to Cambodia.
January.
Yeah. Man,
Okay.
I'm asking for $60. He wants you to fly to Cambodia. Holy cow. That only 26. That's a bargain.
Right.
On behalf of Vince, Max, Tori, and Tim Edborg, we look forward to working with you on the auction. Welcome to the auction committee.
Bye. Thank you so much. Great. All right. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Past presidents for your work to make this a very responsible Rotary. I think with lots of good traditions. I wanted to announce that the membership committee will be meeting next week, right after the regular Monday meeting, right here. You can attend by Zoom or just stick around after the meeting. October 24th, excuse me, a week from tomorrow is World Polio Day. As many of you know, this is Rotary's largest humanitarian initiative. So we really encourage you to become involved with this. So our club, as you know, every speaker we donate to the World Polio Campaign in honor of that speaker. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make our donation on October 24th, a week from tomorrow. And we would like as many Rotarians as possible to join us. And I will be sending the link out with our announcement of next week's meeting. So our link will be in that email so that you can make that contribution for World Polio Day. And I recently saw that last year there were only 140 cases of polio, but it's not done until that number is 0. So we need your help to get this done. I'm still not there. So Paulette has, I don't know, we had a sign up at the table. We were looking for people to do the devotional. We still had a couple months that were needed. And so if you can do a devotional, please get with Paulette and do that. So let's see. Sorry. In the last couple of weeks, your board members have participated in the Cummins Annual Giving Days, where we were able to thank so many Cummins employees for the grant that they gave us for our Books and Bibs program, and also spread the word of Rotary. And we also volunteered at the Latino Heritage Festival, sponsored by the YWCA. So please, as you're thinking about maybe other volunteer opportunities, bring Rotarians along. Let's get Rotary in the community and being actively seen out in the community. We're also working on getting some order form together so you can get some Rotary polo shirts or t-shirts or whatever you want, so it'll be more visible that you are a Rotarian. So we're working on that. November 12th up in Niagara on the Lake, there will be a foundation day, and it will be a lot of good information about Rotary and Rotary activities that are going on worldwide. And Joni, I believe you're going, right? You're going to the foundation day. We'd love to have others go. And so November 12th. And so this would be a great, so the district awards for citations, the Lighthouse Award, membership award, the governor's trophy are all going to be awarded at that time. It'd be great for us to have people there. Other announcements from the committees.
I have one, Ruth.
Oh, Sharon, let's get Sherry to do her announcement while I walk back to Sharon.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to let you know that the Youth Services Committee has had a couple of very productive meetings. We're planning for the district weekend, which is November 17th and 18th. We're really excited to finally have some exchange students come back down our way. And I know Joaquin is happy to have his friends come into town. So we've been planning that. We also have recruitment going on right now. We're going to have a parents meeting, informational meeting at 7 p.m. on October 26th at St. Luke's Church. If you know of anybody who might be interested in youth exchange, we can grow the program. The more people we send out, the more people can come in. And we didn't send anyone from our club directly from Jamestown last year. So if you know anybody that's interested, please have them let me know, have them come in. That you can also register online so that I know to expect you. So that'll be a big day. We're going to do preliminary applications are going to be due November 1st. And we're going to be doing interviews. I just confirmed today that we're going to do interviews November 15th and 16th at the Resource Center in Lakewood. So if you have any questions about youth services, you want to join the committee, you want to help out with any of the upcoming events, please let me know. Thank you.
How many people in this room think that President Ruth is doing a great job? I feel like she gets on a treadmill at high speed and keeps working it all the time. Anyway, she's asked for our help. When we come in, we know we have a 50-50 and we have a greeter. Well, we would like to have someone do the closeout or cleanup at the end. Someone so that Ruth doesn't have to do it. And that consists of our Rotary cabinet is now in the room right off the hallway there. And she would like someone to volunteer each week to gather up the banner, the bell, and the gavel, the name tag box, but you have to be really careful with that one, and anything else that is at the registration table, leftover tickets or whatever. Also there's 2 sets of cables. I have no idea what you're talking about there. And put those all in the back room so that she doesn't have to stay even longer. I'm sure she's here mostly at 11 o'clock each Monday anyway, but she would really appreciate the help. So we have 2 forms here. One is for the next few weeks to sign up to do that for people that stay for the entire meeting and have time to do that. That would be great. And then I have developed a new form for November and December that is on the 50-50 and the greeter sheet that we would look for volunteers to sign up for that event, that action as well. So anyway, I thank you very much. Again, I would say that this is an easy way to do Rotary service. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Ruth, I have one.
Go ahead, please, George.
So this coming Saturday, the Environmental Committee will be out on the Southern Tier Expressway picking up litter and trash and all those sorts of things. And so if you have not signed up yet, there's a sign up sheet there going around. So please sign up, and we will look forward to seeing you at the Park and Ride at 8:30 on Saturday morning, rain or shine, unless it's raining so hard we can't find the Park and Ride. That's it.
And I just wanted to point out that the fall Rotary Social is going to be on October 30th instead of a noon meeting. We'll be meeting at Southern Tier that evening from 5 to 8. Stop in whenever you can. Since it is my first social event that I'm coordinating, I've gone very simple, that you get to order whatever you want off the menu, drink whatever you want, and then pay your tab at the end of the night. So it's not going to be a catered event. Just come whenever you can. Spouses, children are welcome. We're going to have some kind of family-friendly activity going on as well. So hope to see you there. I have asked you to RSVP just so that I can give them a heads up as to our number. So thank you.
Yeah, a big round of applause for Emily for taking on social committee. Thank you so much. All right, so it's my pleasure to introduce to you or ask Becky Robbins to come up and introduce our speaker to you. Oh my gosh, 50-50 and
yeah, let's do it after. Our speaker has to leave. Do you want to do that? No. Yeah, thank you. So with us today is Jamestown's 25th mayor, Eddie Sundquist, who's running for re-election to his second term. Oh, you can't hear it? Election day is November 7th. A native of, can you hear it? A native of Jamestown. Eddie graduated as salutatorian of his Jamestown High School class. He earned his bachelor's in political science, summa cum laude, from St. John Fisher College. He then taught middle school science in Philadelphia in a non-traditional setting. And while teaching, he obtained his Master of Science in Education at the University of Pennsylvania. In 2011, he was recognized by his school as Educator of the Year, having introduced exploratory science labs in his classroom. In 2020, Eddie returned to Western New York to attend the University of Buffalo School of Law. He received his Juris Doctorate in 2015 and returned to Jamestown to practice law. He was elected Jamestown City Mayor in 2019 and took office in 2020. And by virtue of his position as mayor, Eddie serves as president of the Jamestown BPU, where I work. So welcome back to Rotary, Eddie. Yes, and he's a Rotarian.
It's always weird when you have your boss here, right? Can you all hear me okay? All right. I hope that's a little bit better. I appreciate you all having me, and thank you, Becky, for the warm introductions. You know, I wanted to just take a couple minutes to talk to you a bit about what we've done at the city for the last 4 years, and then leave it open if we have time for a couple questions that people may have, questions that may be burning. If you wanted to throw some fruit, you could do that too. I think they took that off of the buffet. But it has been my honor to be the mayor the last 4 years. And, you know, really 2.5 of those years were dealing with the pandemic and the health and safety of our community. That was really tough, right? I got 2 months in to being mayor, and then everything shut down for about a year or two, right? And so that's been a really, really difficult time to move our community forward. Luckily, we fared pretty well through the community. We lost a lot of loved ones, friends, family members. But overall, we're focused on rebuilding. Despite all of those, the issues that we saw during the pandemic, the lockdowns, we've been able to actually accomplish a lot at City Hall the last 4 years. And some things that I've been really, really proud of. The first one has been 0 tax increases the last 4 years at the city. We've settled all of our union contracts. When I came in, some of our unions were 5 to 6 years behind on contracts, hadn't received a raise for 5 or 6 years. And we worked with all of our unions to change the way we do healthcare. For those of you that may be city employees or may know of city employees, we offered healthcare benefits for life. And that's a cost the city has continued to borne throughout this time. And it was costing the city about $5 or $6 million a year in retiree benefits. But we were able to work together with our active members and our retirees to create a new healthcare plan. And I'm proud to say that we had 70% of our retirees join that plan. And it saved the city about $2 million a year to make that change. I've also was really excited to establish a partnership with Jamestown Community College for a grant writer. So the city has a dedicated grant writer with JCC. Last year alone, we brought in $16 million in grant funds, which has helped us keep some of those taxes low and also continue a lot of the programs, and in some cases, add staff. Some of those staff have been added, such as police and fire, at no cost to our taxpayers. We created specialty policing units, violence interruption unit, a community service unit, and what we call our nuisance officer or quality of life officer. So an officer dedicated just to the loud music, the loud mufflers, the issues of littering, junk and debris, those things that really keep us up at night and become a huge nuisance in our community. We've also gotten a chance to receive $2 million from the federal government to increase our firefighting staff. So for those of you may remember a couple of years back, we have a minimum number of firefighters that we tend to have. And as part of that, we actually close 1 fire station every shift. We have received $2 million to add 8 new firefighters for free of cost for the next 3 years, which has allowed us to open up every single fire station in the city 24/7, which is pretty good. We've also worked a lot with workforce development. I've been very proud because at the end of the day, we are seeing more money coming into the economy, into this community, and across this nation for infrastructure than we have ever seen. A chance to rebuild our roads, our bridges, and everything in between. But we don't have the workforce yet to make it happen. So we have been focusing on partnerships with not only JCC, our manufacturers, but we created some really interesting programs. We just started a program with the Builders Exchange of the Southern Tier, where we used federal funding to fund a $500,000 program for construction trades. So the building exchange is actually running people through a program that gets them from education to on the job in a very short amount of time and helps us with the lack of contractors and other building trades that we need in this community and across this area. We've also invested another $500,000 in a program called Good Jobs, Great Cities. The city was named one of 16 cities across the country that's working directly with the Department of Labor to create a model for workforce development that can be replicated all across the US. So we're working directly with them, and it's been really a success to figure out how do we train the leaders of tomorrow to meet the infrastructure needs that we have right now. And on top of all that, we've done some really great things just for the quality of life. One of the things we've invested heavily in is parks. You may have heard we're getting some splash pads. There is no age limit for one to go into a splash pad. So feel free to press the button and run into the water. Those will be coming at Allen Park and Jackson Taylor Park in the spring. We had some supply chain issues to get the equipment, so we should have those up and running soon. For those that play pickleball, any pickleball players in here? A few. We're going to be opening up pickleball courts shortly at Roseland Park. We'll also have a volleyball court and fruit trees at Willard Street Park. So we're redesigning Willard Street Park as well, which, as you may know, has nothing in there currently. We had to remove a lot of the equipment, but it is a park that when we talk to people in that neighborhood, they very much need and want for their children. Going forward, I just released the executive budget for 2024. Again, it's actually a balanced budget this year. We use no use of fund balance, or what we call our rainy day fund, which is really exciting. There's no tax increases, which is probably what you all want to hear. So there's no changes in that, and it maintains our staffing on police and fire. In addition, this budget has some really interesting things, such as $500,000 for strategic demolitions. That's the one thing I hear time and time again, we need to be strategic and take down those unsalvageable and unsafe homes in our community. So we're hoping to add that $500,000 to $1 million that has already been allocated to the land bank for demolitions. We've also added $200,000 for sidewalk repairs across the city so that we can make, thank you. So we can make our city more walkable. We'll add that to the list. And then we've also seen some really wild storms the last year and a half. So we've added funding in the budget as well for additional stormwater management. So we could deal with what we're receiving is the over 100-year floods and problems that we continue to see with issues in our climate. Going forward for the next 4 years, what I'm looking forward to most is something that I just released, which is our housing plan called Better Housing for All. The next 4 years are going to be focused on the key piece of the puzzle that connects all of our community together, and that's having quality and affordable housing. We see issues with crime. We see issues with homelessness. Thank you, for whoever's on Zoom. And we're really excited to be able to focus on that. Our first step is to remove some of the red tape that's required in demolitions. We've now started, instead of doing 1 demolition at a time, we've started doing 5 demolitions at a time in a neighborhood. It makes it more economical for the contractor, as well as helps us get the jobs done quicker in a neighborhood. We're also starting direct ticketing of junk and debris. So individuals, whether you are a landlord or whether you're a tenant, if you've got junk and debris that's visible, we will ticket you directly, just like we do with other tickets. And we're working to build accessible and affordable homes by, first off, expanding our 19A program. That's where the city takes vacant homes that might just need a little love and is able to put into the hands of first-time home buyers. We're also working with a bunch of partners to help develop a mix of supportive and transitional housing. As you may know, there is a huge need for homelessness, for housing for homelessness, and those that are kind of in between, right, that may get left out. So we're working with a bunch of partners to try to figure that out going forward. And lastly, we are trying to do better at protecting our community. What does that mean? Well, we've tried in the past doing neighborhood watches, and neighborhood watches are great for providing information to our police. But what we miss in that part of it is the need for stronger community and the need for ownership in a neighborhood or a block. So we've changed our thinking and said, instead of saying neighborhood watches and just talking about the connection to police, we're going to be focusing on block clubs. we're going to be focusing on every single defining neighborhoods across this community and ensuring that people take ownership in their block, in their neighborhood, whether that's cleaning it up, whether that's working with our community services officer in the police department, or whether that's just being able to access funding to improve your home. And how do you connect with the city to do that? And most importantly, finding a way to connect with all those neighbors. We found a lot of success in some parts of the city where neighbors connect with each other on some type of platform, whether that's a text messaging, phone call, or some type of meeting. And we want to try to expand that out to the entire city. So that's the plan going into the next 4 years. Some of the work that we've done the last 4 years, I can't believe it's been that long, and would welcome any questions folks have. I think we have just a couple minutes. Yeah. It's a lot. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. JCC is working on a big project to increase their ability to improve the athletic programs at JCC and hopefully encourage more athletes to apply to that school. One of the core pieces of that is the stadium, municipal stadium, which is currently city-owned. But if the city and the college can put this together, then it would be owned by the college and relieve the city of that responsibility. Do you look at that as a positive thing to happen? Or do you say, no, it's our stadium, we want to keep it?
Well, I think there's two parts to that. First and foremost, I very much believe we need to renovate the stadium, right? That's step number one. We're spending $250,000 to $300,000 a year on just basic maintenance. And we know there's a need for new systems, new seating, right? New areas of that stadium. So at some point, something has to be done and some type of renovation. I certainly welcome the conversation with JCC, and we've been talking to them. We don't have an agreement with them yet. And my response has been and continues to be, show me the funding for that. They're saying that it's going to be a $30 million project. And until I see the state commit or until I see JCC commit to funding, that's going to stay as a standstill. But certainly there is a need for renovation. And, if JCC can make it happen, we'll certainly continue that conversation. If not, the city will need to do something in the next year or two in order to keep that stadium going.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Hey.
When we were talking about our wonderful international bike project with Singapore, it made me think of many years ago working in the community, helping folks get refurbished bikes. And I understand from one of my colleagues that there is a program here in Jamestown. I wondered if the city's involved in that and what the police department does when they find bikes and have unclaimed bikes. Do they, because certainly there's a need.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that. So there's a couple things going on. There's several programs, different organizations are doing bike programs. The city does confiscate bikes and does allow owners of those bikes to reclaim those after a certain period of time. If they don't, we do, in some cases, refurbish them and donate them. So that does happen currently, but certainly we could take a look into it and see if there's a way we can improve that process a little bit and maybe help some of the work we're doing here.
Yeah, I understand. Mayor's got time for one more question.
Ooh, I hope this is worth it. I voted for you last time.
Thank you.
I just have a real quick question because I operate in a group of people that are always talking about funding for the city. And one of the big questions that comes up is how do we allocate the $29 million in ARP funds? Can you tell us in rough, broad terms and categories in 1 minute or less where that went? That's a big question.
That's a very big question. And I highly recommend that you take a look at our website. It's jamestownny.gov/rescue plan, and you'll be able to see all of the allocations. But I will say just off the top of my head, $8 million alone has gone into neighborhoods and housing rehabilitation. Of that $8 million, 1.8 specifically was targeted to senior home improvements. Others are housing and roof repairs, mini home grants. We've allocated a large chunk of it to capital needs for the city. And then we still have about 1.6 million left to spend on that. So others went to a large chunk also went to small businesses as they were recovering from the pandemic, which is working to retain or create jobs. I think at our last count, using those funding, those organizations that access that funding are either going to create or retain 400 jobs here in the city of Jamestown. So, yep. And any other allocation, you'll have to check our website. I apologize offhand. Yeah, yes, absolutely. We wanted to be very transparent in how we spent that funding and tried to match as much as we can to the master plan that was originally created for it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Your coming. And once again, as I mentioned, that the program to eradicate polio, we will make a donation in your honor, thanking you for this, for coming and speaking to us today. Thanks. Thank you. So 50-50. Get your tickets out. Here we go.
So today's 50-50 is $41.
Wait. 317.
Anyone? Going once? Oh, we have a winner. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We'll keep it short. The hour is late. It was good to hear the mayor. We're going to start the pot out with some money here because I'm not bringing a lot to it. And I thank Mark and Kathy who have to leave early. So it's good. Going to get a photo here in the meantime. Not a lot of people recognize this week. You haven't been in the paper. However, Shades of Pink. Does that ring a bell, Kirsten? The WCA Foundation has benefited from the golf tournament and from the firemen's, which I think is really great towards the breast cancer program at the hospital. It's wonderful. And as the mayor is leaving, he mentioned housing and the good work that's going on to deal with housing. Would you like to say something?
National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Prevention Awareness Month. And I know that 1 out of 8 women and men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. So these events are wonderful to help our community because they stay in the community and they help local patients. So thank you so much for your support and generosity.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. So that reminded me of an article in Rotarian magazine. And I know everyone reads Rotarian magazine, don't they, Randy? You read it, your table reads it with a passion. Yeah. Your table is ready. In the Shenandoah Valley, what are Rotary and Habitat for Humanity doing to help occupants with lowering their cost of living costs in their housing? What program is Rotary and Habitat for Humanity doing to help keep the costs of having the houses down? Absolutely correct. Okay. Hey, you are off the hook. So, there's some basketball. Yeah, basketball.
Developing
We're thinking about
solar
basketball. There's some football things going on here. We might have some alumni in the room. And the St. John Fisher guy just left. St. John Fisher did win. Might be some others. Baldwin Wallace, come on up front. Case Western, Carnegie, Grove City, Muhlenberg. Dan, you still on? Mount Union. John, you here? Are you on? Let's see. Ohio State and Penn State won. I'll be darned. Now, are they both going to win next week, Mike? That's not possible. They could tie. Then they wouldn't have won. Yeah. The big game next week. That's getting all the hype. Saturday, Penn State. And John Lloyd, I hope we're going to remember it. Air Force, we have a retired Air Force colonel in the room, I think. Notre Dame, I'm still looking for Mike Moots. Duke, Michigan. Pittsburgh, makes us think of Ken Strickler. Ithaca, Cortland, RPI, Heidelberg. And lastly, I had trouble waking up this morning because I was so much late night person last night. So if there are any Bills fans in the room for that squeak out win, come on up. Ruth, you're on.
Any other happy bucks? Yeah. Well, I have to put a happy buck in because Cleveland won too. It took the help of a lot of referees, but they won.
Yesterday, I was driving home and I was behind this lady in this brand new Telluride. And did you pay for that new car yet? No? Well, I'll put $1 in and you can match me for that new car. The Joneses got a brand new car.
It's paid for. My wife works hard.
Just real quick, most of you know that our campaign chair is Rex and Mickey McCrae, and he's also sort of the guy who really invented backyard curling in this area and made that happen. So he's decided to do the first annual backyard curling tournament for United Way. There's a flyer on your table. No experience necessary to curl. Family friendly. You can bring your family. You can have a group of friends. November 17th. Come learn how to curl. Have a drink, have a good time, and maybe you'll win a prize. So.
Thank you so much. Very good. So remember, our Rotary theme for this year is create hope in the world. And also this month's theme is economic and community development. So let's work on our community as we always do. Thank you very much. And we're adjourned. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry? Yeah, so yeah, the AM Rotary Club still here. Buy your tickets or pay for your bikes or buy a bike. Thank you.